Starting June 1st, it will begin a new installment of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. The full 12 weeks will be concentrating on the beginning and fall of Babylon, history, the understanding of the religious aspect of Babylon, as well as what? The theme from Babylon, Rome to America. In the Academy, this is what you can look forward to. New lessons, the secret war of Edom against Israelites. But one thing we've never delved into was bringing forth the history, showing all the contentions and war Edom had waged against Israelites even until our present time. The desolation of abomination, how to calculate time according to God, and I can't wait for this lesson, Armageddon. The final war in heaven. If you've never been in the Academy, you want to be in this one. June 1st, we're in open enrollment right now. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. Yes, 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 yes. Blessings, brothers and sisters. Blessings, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Rawchaa, the Gatherer of Christ Church, here with your weekly Patreon update. And yes, we have a special guest, one who worked in the school administrations on the East Coast for years, a lady who called in through the Spirit of the Almighty and she's going to give us some insight to what's really going on in our public schools. Okay, and I'm going to do that on Patreon. I'm going to have a 30-minute interview, and plus we're going to be talking about, yes, Satan's indoctrinations, healthcare, death care on the other side through Patreon. Right? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Let me jump right in. I would like to say hello to you, all of you personally, but for time's sake, let me just go straight into the update. All praises be to the Most High. Ahaya, in the name of Yeshua. Blessed, my brothers and sisters, and I hope you're having a blessed day. And may there be peace on your Sabbath. First and foremost, I have a few announcements to make, and then I'll go right into what we'll be diving into. What we'll be diving into on Patreon. But first, I have to do a little house cleaning in a couple of minutes, and I'm going to show y'all what that house cleaning looks like. Okay? We got a lot of proselytes and others still deceitfully putting out lies and undermining the work of Christ here, but I'm going to take care of that in a couple of moments. All right? Let's first start with the fact that we're going into week 5 of your Hebrew and Bible Academy. It's in progress with week 4 recently completed and receiving significant feedback, positive feedback. All right? 1 second. Yes, sir, Bishop.
How are you?
I'm blessed by the best, and I'm broadcasting live.
Oh, okay. Shalom. So I'll speak to you after. No problem.
Is it an emergency?
No, not at all.
All right, I'll call you right after Patreon.
Yes, sir.
My brother, Shalom. All right, I had to take that in case it was an emergency. Bishop Shawan in the house. I know he's reporting what's going on in the earth or whatever, or the administration of the church. But let me put this on silent. Yes. So I can get through this broadcast real quick. We're going into week 5 of your Hebrew and Bible Academy, and we're going to be showing you the Babylonian origin of Islam. That's right, folks. Islam is not what you believe it is. And guess what? Because we're the flavor, being the children of Israel. It's our people that made Islam what it is today. Outright. If it wasn't for our people during the struggle taking on that religion, there's no way our people would have been following Islam. Okay? It was people like Malcolm X, the modern day Farrakhan. Before that, Elijah Muhammad, who understood the struggle of America, that made Islam what it has become today in notoriety. Okay? Well, before that, there was an origin. That's right. The Catholic Church created what we call Islam and financed Muhammad, and I'll bring proof of that this coming Sabbath. Before it was called Islam, it was Persian mythology. Under Persian mythology is an ancient Babylonian religion that deals with jinns, genies, witchcraft, and sorcery at its helm. And I'm going to expose these lies. And on top of that, I'm going to have a special guest by the name of Rawchaa, Bishop Rawchaa from over UK. He's going to come in and read some of the hadiths. And in some of the hadiths, which is similar to how the rabbis go to their Talmud, it gives you the true understanding of what they truly believe when it comes to the laws within Islam. It's dealing with underage people permitted under the hadiths. You're going to find out that Islam is no different than the modern day Catholicism, pagan at its origin, and has nothing to do with our God and Christ. This coming Sunday. If you have not enrolled in the academy yet, guess what? It's week 5. You better jump on in because we're going in. Prophecy, news, you name it. And one thing I like about the academy, it's one of the rare places we can teach unfiltered, uncensored. Yes, it costs a lot of money for us to have a platform such as this. You wouldn't believe what they charge us to do this, but all in all, it's worth it to be able to bring forth the truth and not. And on top of that, we don't have to bite our tongues while doing so. Go to historytimes.org to enroll, to get in. We'll give you the 4 weeks you've missed with the news, Hebrew, everything, and all the sources sent to your email. That means PDFs. This is school. And it'll get you right for this coming Sunday. Still to come in the academy, let medicine be thy food. Week 5, we're bringing in Dr. Goodman, teaching us how to heal our bodies with the food we eat. Food is supposed to be medicine, folks. That was the true medicine before the modern day pharmaceutical apparatus. And I'll be talking about that on the other side through Patreon today. Week 6, we'll bring in the former NFL player Raphael Bush, showing us how to heal our bodies with the food that we eat. He'll show us how to exercise. Okay. And to help us become healthier and stronger as a nation. And what we're talking about is natural exercises you can do every day. You don't have to join a gym. But folks, when we were coming up before modern day technology, we were all more active. We were more active before modern day conveniences. Everyone didn't have what? Everyone didn't have a washing machine in their homes. But we had washing boards. That's exercise. Forearms and all of that. We were working out without going to the gym. And one thing about our sisters, they stayed fit because everyday activity kept them that way. Okay. You can see their collarbone, their muscles and all that. And there was no gym. And the bodies that women actually go to the plastic surgeries to get, folks, that model body was our sisters before modern day technology without them even trying. You know why? The daily activities kept all of us in shape. And Raphael Bush is going to go through that. We don't have to join a gym. Sometimes we have to get rid of modern day conveniences to get back in pace with this earth, our God, and our bodies. Women was doing this. Even if they had, let me tell you, sisters used to take big laundromat carts, if y'all don't remember that. The men made the money and go do what we had to do. And women, you know what? They didn't feel that they would enslaving and all this old stuff and feel like they was in slavery. They felt good about being able to put those bags in the shopping cart, into laundry carts, and go all the way to the laundromat around the corner with a few quarters. Pile that stuff in, wash it, then fold it on the table and bring back clean clothes for the family. And you know what? It kept our sisters fit and in shape. And you know what? They weren't ashamed about it because they understood the activity. The activity was so important when it comes to keeping their body in check and shape, because guess what? The men loved the fact that our women understood what we loved, what we liked in them. And they would keep their body in shape without even trying. They would eat right, and the everyday activities kept our sisters in shape. Okay? So that's why men didn't think twice about working hard and doing all these things and doing what's extra, working overtime, because they knew they had a gift coming home when they came home. Their woman would have everything done, in shape, and ready for another child. Okay, but modern day conveniences has taken that away. I remember growing up, folks, where within a 1 block radius, you would only see one girl overweight, if that. One girl within a 4 block radius. See? That's because it was natural. Everything they did, their activities. Even in Africa, we were raised this way. Had those baskets on the head and they would walk, keep their posture straight. And guess what? They kept in shape, aged gracefully. Dr. Miami and all that why do you think they're making so much money in plastic surgery now? Now women have to pay for the bodies our sisters had naturally. Well, we're going into this academy. Raphael Butch is going to show these sisters, being a former NFL player, how to work out naturally every day, even if you have a sit-down job. Okay? Even if you have modern day conveniences, what can you be doing in the interim to maintain the beautiful shape the Most High blessed you with? And the men, how to get back in shape. I thank Brother Maloney for giving me some insight, right? He gave me some insight on what to do. And guess what? Hey, it's all, my cheeks was getting big and all of that. And nah, I'm getting in shape. It's about to go down in this earth, and we must be physically ready. And Brother Raphael Bush, former NFL player from the Atlanta Falcons, is going to come in. He's a part of this church and give us some insight on how to stay healthy. Roundtable discussion week 8 on family and or marriage. Okay. Why is it so wrong for men to submit to God? And what is the problem with women not submitting to men? We're going to talk about that because we all deal with levels of submission, but are stubborn in the areas that leads to what? Where it lead us to total humility under authority, in fear of something, right? I can't humble myself because I give somebody all of this. Suppose they hurt me and I gave them all this. You're not humbling yourself strictly because of that person. You're humbling yourself because of God's order. And we're going to talk about that, how we hold a little something in fear of getting hurt. But guess what? Fear is what put us into subjection. Giving our all and submitting is the will of God. Regardless of what another person is going to do, if we do what's right in submission, the Most High is going to make sure we're blessed on the other side, regardless of people who don't appreciate it. We're going to talk about that. we're going to have Hollywood guest Dennis L.A. White, who knows all about the Hollywood inside rituals and seen many things in his long career, week 10. We're making sure we put all the best stuff at the end of this academy so we can go out with a crescendo. Now, some people might ask, well, hey, we should be talking about salvation, this, that, and the other, and that, and the other. Why are you talking about rituals? Folks, we wrestle not with flesh and blood. It's the naivety of Christians to why those in Hollywood who are dealing with the priesthood are able to indoctrinate and destroy our people under the Canaanite religion. So you can stick your head in the sand and think that, well, okay, we should be talking about, well, salvation and hold up, are you saved? Have you accepted Jesus? And not realizing who the enemy is and how they operate. Okay, that's a fool's errand. They want Christians to stay ignorant to what Hollywood is. Hollywood is a Babylonian priesthood. And if we don't tell people about it, guess what? They'll send these Satanists, these pagans into your schools and indoctrinate and destroy your children. You must understand what Satanism looks like. And this is why we're bringing them in. That's right. Inside to give us some inside baseball on what's really going on. For years, the news have been covering up their rituals and try to make us believe that these sex parties and all these things were individual decisions based on lone deviants, without you realizing that this is the initiations they do to convince our people to come into Satanism, to be a part of the Satanist ideology. So that's why we're bringing them in. And it is teaching salvation by teaching Christians what to avoid if you truly believe in Christ, to understand Satan's devices against us. So we bring in someone from Hollywood who have worked in Hollywood for years. Week 10, Dennis L.A. White. Week 12, Elder Rawchaa is going to come in showing us things we can grow at home to help keep our family strong and healthy. Boy, in lieu of what I have to talk about today, folks, on Patreon, Satan's indoctrination, healthcare, death care. I am so happy to announce, brothers and sisters, I am so happy to announce this. What is this? The Gathering of Christ Church, long awaited, GOCC, I Am Royal Academy. Train up your children. Train up a child the way they should go. And when they are of age, they shall not depart from it. Finally, a school for our children. September 2025. Here's a closer look at the academy. Practical skills, hands-on approach. In addition, to achieve academics, children will be taught essential life skills, including hunting, gardening, health, and economics. These practical lessons help foster independence, stewardship, and real-world understanding. Teacher-led classes. Students will receive teaching in core subjects: math, science, art, music, history, and eventually in this school, also, they'll be learning Hebrew, Spanish, and French language arts. Each class is thoughtfully planned to build strong academic foundations in a supportive, faith-centered environment. We will also have holistic development, events and activities. This program goes well beyond the classroom, with coordinated events and experiences that support each child's educational journey, social engagement, and spiritual growth. And we'll also understand each individual child learns differently. And this is why the parents will be fully involved and engaged with our children's education as they grow, where our lessons will be tailored for the child your teaching. Okay? Ensuring a well-rounded approach to learning and development. Enrollments are coming soon. Enrollments are coming soon. And what I'll do for the sake of time, for those who would like to look over the website, there it is right there. And if you go to gatheringofchrist.org, of course, you will see an option to see what's coming with this particular endeavor for our children, a school ages 1 through 12. Okay, the Gathering of Christ Church, through the Spirit of the Almighty, isn't just talking about it. Okay, we're making it happen. This is what the Most High called us to do. Now, in a nutshell, let me break it down. We are pleased to announce the upcoming launch of the GOCC I Am Royal Academy, a free Christ-centered homeschooling program for grades 1 through 12, starting September mid-2025. Accessible to GOCC members globally. Wherever you are in the earth, if you're a part of the church and have been baptized, your children can enroll absolutely free. This online program will provide teacher-led classes in core subjects such as reading, math, history, science, and eventually Hebrew, Spanish, and French, alongside additional skills including music, gardening, economics, and health. Now, we are currently seeking interest from, that's right, we're going to need your help, parents. Parents interested in enrolling their child, volunteers, teachers, and staff who would like to help support this mission. If you are interested, if you are an interested parent and want to volunteer, please check us out at our website. Here it is, gatheringofchrist.org/I Am Royal Academy. Right there. Okay, now that we've dived into that, now let's do a little house cleaning, if you will. One moment. Let's do a little house cleaning. 1 second. Yeah, I want to drop something real quick. 1 second. Come on, answer the phone, sir. Answer the phone. Answer the phone. One second. One second. Yes, Bishop Shawan.
Hey, Shalom, brother.
All right, I'm about to straighten that out right now, though. Okay.
Okay.
My brother. All right. Blessings.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom. Now, what am I about to straighten out, right? And see, normally, I don't deal with things like this, brothers and sisters, there's tens of thousands of people throughout the world that are baptized under the gathering of Christ Church. The majority, I would say, 95%, I would say, or more, probably 97%, are all from the lost tribes of Israel, or at least they believe they are. And about 2 to 3% are Gentiles. Now, what are Gentiles? Gentiles are those who believe in Christ who are not from the families of the 12 tribes of Israel. I would say about 3%, if we were to look at the names, are Gentile people. Right? Now, but guess what? We care for all of the body the same. Whether you be an Israelite or whether you be a Gentile, as long as you're willing to accept Christ and be baptized, you can learn under this church. Right? Now, I'm Elder Rawchaa. I'm not Elder Rawchaa strictly because I just want to call myself an elder. The circumstances led to us what? Appointing titles according to the administration that's in the Bible given to Peter. You had elders, some apostles. What you have some deacons. You have all these administrations in the church. So by necessity that the church have grown, tens of thousands of people, we had to establish churches for people to come into of like mind. Right? So I was just Rawchaa. And I guess what? And I'm fine with just being called Rawchaa. That's all I was. But the work became bigger than all of us. So we had to establish an administration according to what Christ gave Peter. And that brings us to what? The gathering of Christ church. Right? Now, just for the sake of this particular person who's putting out negative against the church, I'm going to be who I was before the year 2000, when I was a part of the Israeli school of UPK decades ago, and later the Israeli church of UPK. For the sake of what I'm about to show, I'm currently 9 Shield General Rawchaa, who came into this truth late 1991 and grew all the way into 9 Shield General Rawchaa. Now, most people would rather deal with Elder Rawchaa, who's more patient, understanding, who still see the best in people regardless of their attacks and error. But let me tell you something about 9 Shield General Rawchaa. He would cut with no thought of healing. And I'm putting this out there so that brothers can understand that what you do on Sonetta and over there and think you got wins with unlearned people, it doesn't cut it here. And who am I talking about? This is a young man who you can find on Sonetta or other places who represents the Israeli school of UPK by the name of Captain Rawchaa. Okay? This guy right here. Now, I have nothing against this brother because what? I know he came into this a little later. One of the YouTube converts under Johanna, and have been given some notoriety publicly online. And you know what? When I see him debating non-believers and atheists, I cheer the brother on. And I hope the brother one day see this. But what I'm not going to do is allow someone to deceitfully put out something negative about the church. I'm not going to allow that because I understand his true intentions. He put this up. GOCC member tells Captain Rawchaa that black women are worse than white women. Now, after this, he probably would get more views than he would ever get in his life, with people actually knowing who he is right now. But it's important that I put this out right now, because this is the weasel thing that not him, but those that he've learned under has taught him. Right? And what do I mean by that? I'm going to show some scriptures in a minute. See, I understand and I feel for this brother to some degree because he's very well spoken. He's learned in history in certain areas and all of that. But he can't come up against us or me. I can teach what he teach right now better than him. Every piece of it. See, but this is why I feel for the brother. And I'm going to put this out real quick before going into the scriptures. Right now, he's Captain Rawchaa. Very, very recognizable person online when it comes to Israelites. Okay? Now, if he was there back when I was General Rawchaa, with all the works he's doing online, I probably would have made him a general by now. Okay? But I understand how it works. He's probably got some disqualified people over him that's ranked over him to keep him in check. See? To keep him in check so that he don't get notoriety above his masters. See? That's why he's still Captain Rawchaa. That's number one. I know how it works there. Even the leaders that are over him were just soldiers in my camp when Johanna took them over to Baltimore and got missing all the way to the time where after 2004 or 5, he reinvented the Israeli school of UPK. So this guy is out of his league right here. Okay, he's out of his league. He don't understand what he's up against. But I understand why he's doing it. Because if he can attack the Gathering of Christ Church indirectly, Rawchaa, then maybe they'll give him some brownie points. See? See how it works? Now, I don't care about the brother's attitude. There's nothing here. But I'm giving this an example so that he can go back to where he come from and understand he get no wins here. Because I understand how he was invented. Okay? Now, the piece I want to bring out here is, and I'm glad Bishop Shawan sent me this, is here is the disingenuous lies that comes with this brother here who have learned how to lie through his teachers. GOCC member tells Captain Tazariag that black women are worse than white women. Now, it was an 11-minute thing, and I actually listened to it. First and foremost, there's a guy on the phone. How do you know that that guy is from the Gathering of Christ Church? Now, this is a man who's supposed to be teaching the Bible. As far as I know, he could have went and found a guy to say that he was from the Gathering of Christ Church. Or he could have found a guy that follows the Gathering of Christ Church online without verifying whether or not this brother is actually a part of the work. But no, he's not going to invest himself righteously into the situation. He's just happy that he's able to debate someone whom he think is of the Gathering of Christ Church. Now, so this is what this, and I hope the young man run into this, right? Because maybe he'll get a promotion if he start following scriptures. What he was supposed to do was verify. He was supposed to reach out to the Gathering of Christ Church and ask, whose man is this? The same way, if this guy was to come up to me, I would say, brother, you're not qualified because you're a newbie. You're a proselyte. Go get your leader. But I understand the guy trying to get brownie points, right? Because usually brown nosing can get you another rank. See, but I was never a brown noser. Everything I ever got in this work, it was 10 toes down because what I believe I was teaching was true. No one ever gave me anything. And this is why they didn't like me, because I don't brown nose for promotions. Okay? But you're not going to get points on the Gathering of Christ Church using an anonymous person who's not even a part of the church to make everybody think you can get a win. And this is the nonsense that happens when you're on Sinetta debating what? Atheists and people who don't believe at all. You can get easy wins that way. Now, let me go into some scriptures for the young man because he failed to read these. Right? Let's get some scriptures for this young man. Right? Let's get some scriptures for him real quick because you got the wrong one. Okay? You're not qualified here. He couldn't wait to find somebody that he think is a part of the Gathering of Christ Church. Because his problem is he don't like the fact that we teach Gentiles. But that's his problem. So what he'll do, he'll put up a lie and claim a GOCC member tells someone that black women are worse than white women. A liar. Because no one ever said that. I listened to it. This dude asserted that because really what's behind his vitriol is that this church has tens of thousands of members all over the world, including probably about 2 to 3% Gentiles, a work that his leader could never accomplish because his leader isn't in Christ. That's his true issue. Okay? Now, here's some scriptures of how he should have dealt with if a person said that they were a GOCC member, right? Go into the Bible, and we're going to go into Deuteronomy 19 and 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. In any sin that he sinneth, at the mouth of two or more witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. See, in respect of these other organizations, if a person come up to me and claim they're from one of these organizations, and they have called me and they have emailed me, But I don't deal with weasel things. I say, listen, brother or sister, I'm not into that. Because I didn't ask you to be a part of those organizations. If you want to learn the truth of Christ, then guess what? I'll baptize you so you can walk in the true doctrine. But as far as these guys are concerned, I have no conversation about them. They're non sequiturs. I already know their doctrine is incorrect. So I don't need you to lay on my couch and me try to heal you like a psychiatrist. Okay? That's not my deal. If you want to do what's right, I'll teach you the true doctrine and you can now roll with us and forget the past like I did. I'm not going to, every time somebody come crying out of one of these organizations or claim to be one of these organizations, I'm not going to put a video out there to get some points or to show that I'm greater than them because I'm talking to somebody who used to follow them. That's childish. But these guys are clout chasers. Okay? They're clout chasers. So anytime they get an opportunity to think that they got one up on the gathering of Christ Church, they'll put it up there. Not to convince anybody amongst us, but to keep those that are under them, folks, the people under them, under the spell. That's what they do. They put out lies so they can keep the people that's under them under control. But you're not going to use us for that. Now let's go to Christ now. Christ, Matthew 18 now. That's the Old Testament since the brother know the law. So he should have confirmed whether or not he was even speaking of the gathering of Christ Church. And I listened to it. The brother never said that black women, even though I don't know that brother, he never said black women are better than white women. But that's the lies these guys put out there. Why? Because they have a problem with us teaching the other nations and guess what? They cannot contend with the doctrine we teach. Teaching all nations. Right? So let's go to Christ real quick because I got to go to Patreon. Let's go to Christ real quick. Matthew 18. Matthew 18. Amia, stop cutting and pasting the same thing. We got it already, okay? Please. Right? Matthew 18, verse 16. Matthew 18 and 15. But if he will not hear thee, take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 to 3 witnesses, every word may be established. So if you got a fault with something, you bring the witnesses. Now, the genuine thing was to come to us and verify whether or not this guy was a part of the gathering of Christ Church, and then ask us our opinion of white women opposed to black women. You can't take a soundbite and then assert an idea that's really a lie when that person, you don't even know if he's a part of the church. But guess what? I'm going to make what he put up more popular than what he did with his 3,000 views. So that y'all can understand the weasel work that always operated amongst that organization. Next, Matthew 23. And this is general, non-show general Rawchaa. Okay. Since he's captain to Lawya. Okay. Matthew 23 and 15. See, this is what happens when you're debating a bunch of people who don't know anything on Sinetta. But you're not going to get brownie points to get your rank raised on us. And the reason why he's still captain is because the brother have done so much work, but they put underlings over people to keep them in check. Why? Because this brother, and I believe this brother is a very well-learned brother. I know what happens when you get notoriety, and now you probably are more charismatic and have more influence than your so-called leader. Who knows how many times they bust him down and kept him captain in fear with the notoriety he's receiving. So I feel for the brother. I know what he's going through. I've been there and done that. But this is what happens when you put up anything against the Gathering of Christ Church. Okay, you get a lesson. Okay, and you're not qualified to talk to us. Again, bring your leader. Because I'd rather deal with the head of the snake and get it over with, and then all of that is done. Okay? Now, when I state head of the snake, what do I mean by that? Well, Christ told us in Matthew 23, Then spake Yeshua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. These are Hebrew leaders who are saying, follow the law. So Christ said what? They sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you, observe and do. But do not yet after their works, for they say and do not. So this is why I don't discourage people who may be under IUIC, Israeli, the new invented Israeli school of UPK, and I'm going to show you all that in a moment. This is why I'm discouraged people who listen to them, because I know they do teach, even if they don't do it themselves, they teach people to follow the laws of God. But they're modern day Pharisees. So Christ said, hey, they sit in the seat of authority. The people under them should follow the law. But don't do as they do, because they do and say not. Now, this is where the young man, and I believe the young man is going to do well in life, because I know what they're going to do. I know where he's going to be when they're finished with him. Okay? Let's go to Deuteronomy 23 and 15. This is where the young Tazariak, Captain Tazariak, whatever his name is, this is where he comes in at. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for you compass sea and land to make one proselyte. That means you converted this young man. Johanna and them converted him, not understanding who those men are. But I can understand his respect for them, because I was there. And when he is made, when a proselyte is made, a proselyte or convert would be someone like young Tazariak, who learned later, who don't know that we were all, before YouTube, together. So brother, you got the wrong guy. I can teach your doctrine, not just better than you, better than your leader. Now think about that. And when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. So they go out and they'll make people worse than them. You know why? Because you have to sacrifice your own people through brown nosing and come against your own people to get notoriety and rank within that organization. Hence the reason why he's still a captain. Okay? He don't have enough bodies yet. He haven't betrayed as many people as he need to yet. You got the wrong one, brother. If you want to talk about the Gathering of Christ Church, it's best for you to reach out to me instead of coming in weaselly, trying to talk to somebody on the phone, unconfirmed, just to get some brownie points amongst your leaders who really don't have power to do anything in the earth. And why do I say that? Let me show you, young man, how the organization that you're upholding right now began. I don't know if you was born in 91 when I came into the Israeli school of UPK. Let me show you what you're upholding. And once you fix this, then you can come talk to me. Here's a man by the name of Abba Bivens. Abba Bivens learned under what? Under the old synagogues concerning the Old Testament. Under Jewish ideology, but he knew we were Israelites. Well, brother, ask your leader, because your leader was teaching people under that organization that Abba Bivens, this guy right here, Abba Bivens, was John the Baptist in reincarnation. Now you go ask your leader, Johanna, is that still correct? Okay? You got the wrong one. So if this guy was John the Baptist in reincarnation, why do your organization teach against baptism? Huh? You see, I didn't want to do this, but I told you all, stay over there. Now, if your leader reach out and want to debate what I'm saying, I'll speak to him because he's qualified. And you know what? He can get this work quick and it'll be swift. They claim that this guy was John the Baptist in reincarnation, which is one of the original leaders of their organization, Israeli School of UPK. When I came in, 91, 92, this man, who they call Apostle High Priest Rawchaa, they said that he was John the Revelator and Daniel in reincarnation. Ask your leader about that, when reincarnation is a trash doctrine from Babylon. There's no such thing as reincarnation. These are the same guys who was teaching that there was no such thing as hell, then switched it up 6 years later. I was there when they came with the switch off doctrine that hell exists. Where were you? Now ask Johanna, is this guy, was he still Daniel the Revelator? Daniel the prophet and John the Revelator. Next, I met him more than once. May the Lord bless his soul. Well, guess what? They called him King Maisha in New York, 1 West 125th Street. I was there. I met the man. Okay? The man was humble, but I didn't believe that he was David and Peter reincarnated like y'all teaching and Moses reincarnated. So ask your leader, was this guy Moses? Was he King David? And was he Peter? Let me drop something on you, young man. When there was a split around 94, 95, this man came to Raubon's house and I was there. And I spoke to him during that so-called split. I think that he probably started to believe that what he was teaching wasn't correct. Huh? They say this guy was Moses, David, and Peter in reincarnation. Israeli School of UPK. There they go right there. There was a split between these two. This guy became REI, Israeli Church of UPK, where Philadelphia, where I became non-shield general, stayed under REI. My Shah split and it became the House of David. Johanna went with him. Right? And Nathaniel and Tahar from GMS went with him. Right? Eventually he passed. May the Lord have mercy on his soul. Here's Johanna right here. Here's Johanna right here. This is Yaquab, who's Ariah's father. He was a very well-mannered, nice man. Here's your new leader of Israeli School of UPK right here, who was teaching all that mess I just explained. Okay? I was there. And guess what? I became one of the better teachers in this whole organization. All right? That means if there was any scripture you wanted, even Johanna came to Philadelphia, right? Just like Lawya does for me. If I'm on a podium, there's not a scripture that wasn't pulled based on what was coming out of his mind. Okay? So I know the doctrine backwards and forward. Next, what happened here? And I'm going to put this out there so that this young man know, don't ever come to us with this crap again. What happened? 2001. The brother here, may the Lord bless his soul, they said that he passed during COVID. Right? This was a brother who was over the Israeli Church of, not the university, what they call it. He switched up the whole doctrine and claimed that he was a comforter. Okay? Now, I wasn't there when this guy started claiming to be the comforter. All right? I wasn't there. Why? Let me make it clear, young man. When Johanna took his young men over from my camp over into Baltimore, this brother here who was under REI tried to get me to come against Johanna when I said I can't stand against a man who's not present. Okay? So this guy got mad in the room. So I didn't care if he got mad, but I wasn't going to let him talk against Johanna, and Johanna isn't there. So I said, listen, I don't want to be a part of all of this is madness. Okay? Tahar ended up being GMS before YouTube. Johanna ended up reinventing the Israeli School of UPK after it was all dissolved. And Nathaniel ended up making IUIC with the same doctrine that we see with UPK, with the little variations. See, I was there
when these men were underlings under the Israeli school of UPK. But now, through the Spirit of the Almighty, I know I'm an Israelite, but the Most High have saved me from the spirit of Pharisee. Just like Paul was raised a Pharisee, but then found the doctrine of Christ. I don't have anything against any of these organizations at all. Because guess what? At the end of the day, we'll all see the Maker. And the judge will judge righteously according to who upheld the doctrine. So again, I'm going to say this to the young man if he run into it. I said it last week, and I'm going to say this as 9-Shield General Rawchaa. You're not qualified. Get your leader. Okay? And what I'll do is I'll put the doctrine on the table, and let's see. And what I'll do is I'll teach your leader the doctrine that he taught me and show him where it's wrong. How about that? Right? Huh? Okay, I'm about to do a few things. Oh, yeah. Real quick, I'm about to get ready for Patreon. But let me say this real before I go over to Patreon. Real quick. Because someone was asking, I'm going to make it clear. Right here. This brother right here, Tazadakia, okay? Again, I was never under the Israeli Church of God in Jesus Christ. That was something that this guy came up with, okay? And maybe this is why they told me months after I said I wasn't going to be a part of their madness. They told me to roll out, the best thing that could have happened in my life, because they were about to bring forth this madness concerning him being the Holy Spirit. YouTube revived these old groups that were already destroyed. Okay? So let's no longer be disingenuous here. Okay? Let's no longer be just disingenuous. Just say you got a problem with the Gathering of Christ Church because we hold the gospel of Christ. We teach all nations, and we're not going to make a doctrine off of hating white people. Okay? That's juvenile. That's childish, young man. So again, no one is going to fall for your weasel titles. GOCC member tells Captain Tazariak that black women are worse than white women. That's a lie. And he put it out there, not only to get brownie points and maybe they'll raise him up a few ranks, but to keep the people that's under his organization under the spell. Because these guys are outright lie to the people in their organization. Okay? They'll straight lie to them so that to keep them from actually asking questions with the person they're actually talking about. All right? So again, now I'm keeping it where it's at. The reason why I put it out there, young men and young women, because folks, why do you think Christ would put it out there publicly about the Pharisees and scribes, the serpents? You think he was speaking about our people? Because they'll come as if they're for the people, but they'll undermine, lie, and all of that. And I'm going to leave it here. And after that, I'm done with it. Right? I'm done with it. We'll just make this a clip by itself, and we'll have what? We'll have AC just make it a clip that says, beware of who? Beware of the Pharisee lies. Okay? There's no gathering of Christ Church teaching that white women are better than black women. What type of crap is that? But someone will see this and believe this is the man of God saying this. They'll trust because this particular guy claimed to follow the Bible. They'll see the title and believe this nonsense. That's why I got to get in front of it. Okay, but who knows? Hey, who knows whether or not he's gonna after this come out? I hope it works out with his organization. Johanna probably tell him, "Hey, I told you, don't mess with Rawchaa." Okay. And see, I'm only bringing the surface situations. All right. And I'm going to leave it there strictly as doctrine is concerned. But this young man don't know that I've seen a million guys like him come and go. And what did Christ say? I've seen a million guys like him. At least not million, but I'm being a little facetious there. But I've seen hundreds of guys like this come and go. Let me read this real quick. Again, out of the Bible. Matthew 23:15. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for you compass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. So guys like that don't surprise me. Why? Guys like this don't surprise me because I understand whom he's a proselyte of. See? Whom he's a proselyte of, because this is what they do. You would never see one of the students of our church do that. You would never see one of the students of our church put up something about one of these organizations because they're non sequiturs. They don't move the needle. And really, they're envious of the work. There you go, right there. In the background, as a general of the old Israeli school of UPK, one day he will become, out of nowhere, the last man standing of that organization. That I thank the Most High have blessed me with not being a part of going forward. No sooner as I was broken from that doctrine and learned baptism, the power of the Holy Spirit, and not deal with Christ's doctrine through a racist lens, is when the whole Bible came alive. Yes, sir. I think he better get his boy. And now, no longer, I'm going to put away non-show General Rawchaa, and now I'm Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church. All right? Blessings, my brothers and sisters. What will we be talking about? What will we be talking about on the other side called Patreon? Well, we're going into Satan's indoctrination, health care, death care. All right? And what we're going to be talking about is how they were able to bring in the school apparatus into the health care. And did that have its origin in eugenics? Why is it that they made it a prerequisite for us to take a medical procedure and get shots and all that just to learn in school, when one had nothing to do with the other? Right? Also, we're going into, yes, William Henry Gates Sr. Bill Gates' father served on the board of Planned Parenthood. Bill Gates' father was one of the originators, one of the founders of Planned Parenthood. That's where people go to get rid of their children in our community. Is there a connection between Bill Gates Foundation? Well, listen. In addition, his involvement with Planned Parenthood, Bill Gates Sr. also played a significant role in shaping his son's, that's Bill Gates, philanthropic endeavors through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Look at that. Look at that. He helped guide the foundation's work in global health and other areas. He also founded the William H. Gates Institute for Population and Reproductive Health at the Johns Hopkins University. So this is the guy who spawned Bill Gates. William Gates. Look at him around the lovely children. Bill Gates Sr. Oh, doesn't he just love children? We're going to talk about that and more on the other side. We're going to also talk about Margaret Sanger and the Negro Project, how they would do what? That they would cultivate and groom leaders, religious leaders, doctors, and all that to push eugenics on our children. And this is why our community is utterly gutted and or decimated today. And we have a special guest, Sister Simone, who work on the Board of Education in New York, is going to come in on the other side, Patreon, for 30 minutes to give us the inside baseball of what they're truly doing in our schools, targeting the black boys intentionally. And folks, one thing that broke my heart, I seen a video yesterday, and it broke my heart, and I didn't know that it was this bad. A young boy, he had to be about 14, 15, goes to his mother. And I remember at that age where I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet and make my own and become a man to make my own, to one day support my mother and get my mother and family out of the ghetto. I know what that is to be inspired, to want to work hard, And folks, it broke my heart. Let me pull this video up. And I didn't know it was this bad. Folks, is it this bad out here? Is it this bad? Let me see if I have it. I may have saved it here. One moment. Is it this bad? I may have saved it here. Let's see. Yeah, right here.
That's like.
And this guy's sitting here laughing. It broke my heart when I seen this. And this is how the other nations are looking at us right now. Listen to this.
Getting no job. If you go get a job, they're gonna take my Section 8. Then you won't be able to get no Section 8. You're not going to get no job. They're gonna count your income against my Section 8 and my link card. You're not working. No.
That's so wrong.
So I don't care what you gotta say. I don't care how you feel. You're not working. You're not going to get a job. You're not going to school. You're not doing none of that shit.
Like, Mom, I'm saying how I'm supposed to be successful in life, Mom. So you basically telling me I gotta be broke to be successful? I gotta be broke so I can get Section 8?
You gotta be
so
broke
I get
so
a
the
link card?
government can help you.
So the government.
Yo, this is like.
And
First
then-
of all, I don't even know what.
Now look at the other nations laughing. This boy is 15 years old, want to go to work. And she's telling, listen, the government is going to cut her off if he works so he cannot get a job, which will lead him into the streets to sell drugs to make money under the table. At the same time, we are promoting our young girls to get educated. But behind closed doors, we're seeing what? We're seeing what we've always knew existed, but through TikTok and YouTube is exposing something that's seriously wrong with our people in the community. And then the boy who tried to do something he can't work or he get kicked out because it's going to mess up her Section 8. So then he'll grow up as a street guy, only for women later to say, well, listen, look at him. This is all we have to choose from. Men aren't nothing. Men are crap because look at this guy. And some people say, well, okay, well, where's the father? Well, the father tried to get the boy. Guess what? That's not going to happen because they're not going to give up the child that should be with the father because it would mean what? Less child support. The father have no authority or power to change this trajectory because they put all the power under the women and took the authority from men. I couldn't believe what I'm seeing. But hey, we're going to be talking about not this in general, but this is why we have the family discussions during the academy. To talk about it. He told her son, the government is here to help us. To keep this young man from having any ambition. And now we're seeing the quiet part out loud, folks, that can no longer be hid. It's beyond embarrassing. It's a shame. And this is what the government wants. This is what they want. See, but when I was growing up, it was a little different. We were encouraged to go out and dance, to make money. We were encouraged to take some wood. My father said, hey, you want to make money? I'm like, sure. He said, no more allowance. You're old enough, be a man. Took me downstairs and showed me some wood because he was a carpenter. And he said, listen, I'm going to show you how to make a shoebox. I'm like, what's a shoebox? He said to shine shoes. He said, the way you dance, you get the right corner, you'll be making more than me. I went there and got me a mold. I took my shoe and drew out a shoe the print of a shoe, a mold. And I took a saw and sawed it down and sanded it, put a block on top, and made, that's right, folks, I made a shoe shine box. Went around the corner and brought $7 worth of shoe polish. Went to 15th and Market, folks. Went to 15th and Market and shined shoes. Right there where the clothespin is. Folks, I was at $5 a shoe, dancing, singing while I was shining shoes with spit shines. I was bringing home over $200 a day at the age of 13. My father said, if you do this the way you dance and sing, you'll be bringing more money home to me and I'm a carpenter. Folks, my mother wasn't paying rent. We were dancing, singing. We were paying the rent. We were paying the rent. But it gave us ambition. It gave us an entrepreneurial mind. And folks, it brought chills to me coming around full circle. What do you mean by that? The same place, my father's a carpenter. He shows me how to make a shoe shine box. I go to 15th and Market to shine shoes. And it brought chills to me when the first time I spoke as an Israelite was in the same place my father, the carpenter, gave me the insight to shine shoes. I'm sitting there bringing our people back together at the age of 21, saying that I'm an Israelite. At the same place my father sent me to dance and shine shoes. Full circle. So a lot of them out there want us to keep these circular arguments happening amongst our community without getting to just the root, the core root issues they don't want to discuss. Because if we were to discuss the core root issues and address them, our community would be fixed overnight. They don't want us to discuss the root issues. You can't discuss them. See, if you discuss them, then you're taken out like Kevin Samuels. The core root is that the government have been attacking us, the man, by giving the woman the power in our community. And they keep our women at the bottom so that our women will be dependent on them financially so that the government can continually to indirectly attack us through that mechanism. Not all, but too many. They don't want us to talk about it because that has been their secret weapon. It took TikTok. It took social media and no shame for now people to say out loud what we knew existed. And when I was coming up, women knew it existed, but they were more savvy. They were more savvy to keep certain parts quiet compared to this generation. Are y'all ready to go to Patreon? We're going to Patreon and we're going to talk about this. Satan's indoctrination, healthcare, death care. We'll be right back. Patreon /A-Gathering-144. Hold up. Let me get it here. Show you the scene. Let me get it here. 1 second. Not this one. Not that one. Let's see. Hold on. Right here. We'll be right here. I got my loyal Patreonies on this side right here. Our chat. So if you're going on Patreon, make sure you put up one page separate for the chat and have a separate page for the video. So let's go over Patreon. We have a special guest for the first 30 minutes who's going to give us some insight to what's really going on in the schools where they are attacking the boys intentionally, especially the black boys, especially the tribe of Judah. So I'm going to bring her in a couple of seconds. Hold tight. Thank you. We are the children of Israel. We're back. Week 5 starts at the Hebrew and Bible Academy, where we show you the satanic Babylonian origin of Islam in this academy. And there's so much more brand new lessons that we have to dive into. So if you're not a part of the academy, you want to enroll. You want to enroll. I'm going to tell you, we're going to treat this academy like it's our last. Shalom. Thanks for all of your support for the Gathering of Christ Church. $ GOCC report. If you would like to cash app us, if you don't have anything to give us, that's fine. But anything you do helps the work. Or you can go to gatheringofchrist.org. Donate if you don't have cash app, and you'll see options that you might have to actually support the work, because there's no work like this on earth. We are the Gathering of Christ Church. We're the children of Israel. And yes, we are back. Shalom.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be. Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, our highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us, good point. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Asher in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans, our highest gathering Israel. The Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, our highest gathering Israel. Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel.
Zebulun from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans,
Our highest gathering Israel.